Shalom Rabbi.
Shalom.
I'm Ronas, but my Christian name is Michael.
Shalom.
You said about the stock. I'm not here about discuss about capital market, about religious. I have two questions. First, here I read there are 7 universal law. As far as I know, Moses said there are 10. Could you explain me about this between the 7 and the 10 law of Moses? And my second question is about there are some mainstream of Judaism, like Orthodox Judaism and then conservative Judaism. Could you explain me about which Judaism Rabbi is?
I'll answer your second question first, because that's easy. I always go for the easy one first. I'll leave the tough one for later. I'm an Orthodox rabbi. Orthodox. So he said that's good.
Why good?
Then he asked the question about the Noachide laws. There are 7 Noachide laws. I'll explain. But there are also 10 commandments. How are they different? Now, the Noachide laws are called 7, but really there are nearly 100 of such laws. But there are 7 major categories. But what does it mean, Noachide laws? So, I want to ask you a question. When God conveyed to Avram Avinu, a blessed memory, that Sodom is a very wicked place. It's going to be destroyed. And Avram Avinu asked God, but maybe there's some righteous people there. Avram Avinu wasn't more merciful than God. He was afraid that if the righteous will be killed, then people say, what kind of a God kills righteous people? But the question is, that event, Abraham of blessed memory, lived 4,000 years ago. Right? 4,000 years ago. The Torah was given 3,300 years ago, approximately. Question is, what laws existed before the Torah was given? If the Torah was given 3,300 years ago, and the year, if you want to know, is 2,448 after creation. That's when the Torah was given. Abraham was born in the year 1948 after creation. It's really quite different. But what made, when the Torah says that Noah, he was a Navi, he was a righteous one. The Torah says, Ish Tzaddik, he was a righteous man, b'daraisa, in his generation. Well, what made him righteous? The Torah is not going to be given for more than 1,000 years. Was he following the 10 commandments? What commandments was he keeping? In Genesis chapter 6, we are told that Hashem looked at the world, and all but a few people are very wicked. Genesis 6 tells us many of the great sins people were doing. They were raping women, stealing. The question is, but the Torah wasn't given yet. Is God punishing people for violating commandments that didn't exist yet? So the answer is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Adam Harishon commandments already, and he conveyed them over to each generation following, and it was conveyed by Noah, who was also a prophet, and they all knew these commandments, and they were supposed to follow it. And these are the Noachide laws. Now, so in the Torah it tells us, for example, that we can't eat like an animal eats. An animal goes is hungry, and there's one animal attacks another, and the animal isn't even dead yet, and it's eating it up alive. You've been to Komodo Islands? They have the largest lizard in the world there. These animals, these are reptiles. they're already eating the pig or they're eating a deer while it's still alive. It's still dying. Torah says, I give you permission to eat meat. Now be careful. You can't eat from a living animal. Genesis chapter 9, verse 4. You have to be very careful if you own an animal. You can't cause it to suffer. We don't kill an animal anyway. First of all, we're not allowed to hunt. You can't kill an animal just because you want to kill it to die. Not allowed to do that. No hunting, only for food. You can't hunt and just put up I don't know why these people are crazy, but they go hunt and kill a beautiful elephant and just kill it because they want to kill. It's crazy. Not allowed to do that. Only for eating or for its hide. You're not allowed to go around killing animals. And if we eat, we kill it only in a special way of shechita, in a way that does not cause the animal harm. And Torah says in Devarim, in Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 21, you must slaughter the animal only in the way that I showed you, no other way. That's a mitzvah on the Jewish people. But you cannot, no person is allowed to cause an animal suffering. If you come home, you're hungry and your dog is hungry, guess who has to be fed first? The dog, not you. Person's not allowed to steal. That's one of the 7 Noachide laws. Can't take money. You go into the store and you pay them whatever 5 million rupiah, and the cashier gives you back too much change. Counting your change, you see, she made a mistake. They have a lot of money. They won't miss it. The extra 100,000 rupiah, I'll walk out. So a person will say, no, Hashem is watching. You say, excuse me? This is yours, not mine. You're a thief. You have employees, people who work for you. They wait to get paid on Friday or whatever day. And you decide, I'll just tell them the bank is closed and I forgot to go. It's forbidden. You're not allowed to do that. Not allowed to hold back the wages of your employees. Very serious, very grave sin. Not allowed to worship idols. No statues. Therefore, it's also forbidden, for example, you can't walk into a house of idols. If you're on one island here in Indonesia, and you see a big temple filled with idols, you're not only to say, look what a beautiful statue they have. I'm not worshiping it, but I'm going to go in and look, and we'll take pictures with me and this big monkey animal, or this big elephant animal. Look how beautiful. It's forbidden. Not allowed to do it. Not allowed to walk inside. You can't even go to a restroom. Don't use the bathroom in such a place. Not allowed to walk. You don't have to die for this. You not allowed to even say anything nice about it. Look what a beautiful statue they have. Look how nice that statue is. Not allowed to do that. And if you say it or you think it in your head, it means you need a doctor. There's something wrong with you. If you look at a statue and go, how nice. Look how beautiful. That means there's something wrong with you and you need to go to the doctor. Just like if, God forbid, you coughed up and blood came out, you would go to the doctor right away. That's a sign that spiritually you're not well. Not allowed to steal, not allowed to murder. Can't just sleep around with anybody. It's forbidden. These 7 commandments are again, what I want to demonstrate to you is, for instance, you can't sleep with anybody you want to. There are actually 19 relationships that are forbidden. 19 categories of people with whom you cannot sleep. Okay? So we say it's one law, but it's really one basic category of laws. Okay? Do you understand that? Good. So these are the laws that were kept in the Torah, and these are the laws that was followed by the holy people, by those who are righteous, who are loyal to Hashem. And these are called the Noachide laws. It's not the best description, it's an old term. It really is, these are the laws of Hashem for all those who follow the true God. Because every person here is a descendant of Noach, only 8 people on that boat. And we are descendant of every one of us is descendant of Noah, no one else. So they're called the Noachide laws. And so these laws are universal. See, what Judaism is we are a nation, we are a people, there's the Bnei Yisrael, but it's universal. People who embrace these commandments are all joining the true faith of worshiping the one true God and have a place in the world to come. The 10 Commandments, on the other hand, there are many of these laws in the 10 Commandments. Don't murder, don't steal, it's in there. But there are some commandments that are in the 10 Commandments. There's a commandment like keep Shabbos. A person who is not Jewish is not required to keep that commandment. A person might say, "Wow, these Noachide laws, that's easy. I wouldn't kill anyone, I wouldn't murder, and I'm not a thief." The Jews have so many mitzvahs, so many commandments. We have so little. I showed you really the difference is not so much, but there's something very special about these laws. And that is that a person must be honest in business, not because he says, "I think it's a good idea." Be nice to your animals because I'm a good person. It's the right thing to do. No, you have not fulfilled the commandment. The only way to fulfill these mitzvot are that you must do it because HaKadosh Baruch, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, commanded you. You have to say that, or you have not fulfilled the commandment. If somebody gives you too much money, and it's too much, you have to say to yourself, I'm going to give, before you give back, you say, okay, the reason I'm giving back is not because I'm a good person, because God commanded me. Why did I give tzedakah? Not because I'm nice, because God commanded me. Now here's the interesting thing. The 7 Noachide laws, as it turns out, are all rational, are all logical. And it's not easy. Why? Because we're creating the image of God, we naturally don't want to murder. It bothers us. We see a dead body and it bothers a person. If a person could see a dead, murdered body and it doesn't affect them, there's something wrong with them. Even to think that if someone could sleep with his mother, it sounds sick to us. Why? Why should it bother us? Why should it bother us? Animals don't care. The answer is that we're creating the image of God. Don't steal? I know. What do you mean? How do you know? You know because you're creating the image of Hashem. But what is central is to say, the reason I'm going to be honest in business is because God commanded me. Even though rationally these things come to me, we have to realize that the reason they seem natural is because we're creating the image of God. And that's the advantage that the Ben Noach has over the Jew. Why? Because there are commandments on a Jew that are not on anybody else. For example, keeping Shabbos. Keeping all the laws of Shabbos is only on a Jew. So a Jew makes kiddush to sanctify the Shabbat. You ask me why later, I'll explain. But now, when a person's making kiddush, is there any logical way to explain celebrating the Sabbath? None. There's no, on the surface, it doesn't make sense. Why are we celebrating the Sabbath? Because God rested? Was God tired? He was sleepy, working 6 days, 24 hours a day. He was exhausted, needed vacation. Doesn't make sense. And if God did rest for whatever reason, why would I celebrate when he rested? He didn't do a thing. I should be celebrating for 6 days, and on Shabbos, I should stop celebrating. But why am I celebrating? I'm celebrating that God didn't do a thing? This is a very interesting concept. I don't want to discuss it now. If you'll ask, I'll explain. But just understand that Shabbos requires, why does God need to rest? He was so tired, he stopped creating. And why do we celebrate him doing nothing? We should be celebrating him. Work should be 6 days, you should celebrate. On the 7th day, do what you want. That's logical. Therefore, in a sense, when a Jew celebrates Shabbos, It's not completely rational. If you'll ask me, I'll show you how it is. But on the surface, it isn't. Superficially, it doesn't come to us immediately. And therefore, a Jew, in a sense, is forced, like a gun to our head. We have to know that we're keeping Shabbat, and we make Kiddush on Shabbat because God commanded us. We have no choice. We have no other way out. There's no other way to explain why we put on tefillin, why we wear tzitzit with strings. No explanation for this except God commanded us. With not killing, not murder, it comes logically. But the mitzvahs on a Jew are not logical. Many of them, we don't have a obvious reason. Now, if you study it, you'll understand the reasons. If you'll ask me, I'll explain to you. But it's not obvious. Therefore, a person who's a ben Noach means of the Chasidi Umus Olam, person who follows the true God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the great prophets of Israel. This person has a tremendous place in the world to come. Because it's logical. You had a way out. You had an exit. Whereas other commandments, why can't the Jew eat lobster? We don't really know why. Because Hashem tells us in the Torah, the Bnei Yisrael are not allowed to eat such animals. Only Bnei Yisrael. Others can, not a problem. So therefore, because when I say I can't eat shellfish or shrimp, I can't explain why. Only because God commanded me in Leviticus chapter 11. That's it. So that's why being a Ben Noach is not second-class citizen. Some people think a Bnei Noach is sort of Judaism junior, Judaism light. It's a second-class citizen, people. It's not true at all. Every person is created b'tselem Elokim in the image of Hashem. Hashem loves you very much. And the 7 Noachide laws connect you to Hashem only if you say, I'm giving charity, not because I feel bad, she's hungry. No, because Hashem commanded me, that's why. Because it made sense, no, the Almighty commanded me. Jews, we put on tzitzis, we put on the tzitzis on the four-cornered bar garment. I can't explain, I can, but it's not on the surface obvious why. And therefore, it's easy to be a Jew. It's harder, in a sense, to be a proper Ben Noach. There's a very, very high level. Okay, the 10 Commandments are also unique in that why 10 Commandments? Because the 10 Commandments also map onto all 613 Commandments. These are 7 major categories, and in fact, every single commandment in the Torah in one way is connected to the 10 Commandments. In fact, not only is it connect that way, but it connects within itself. That means the first commandment of do not worship any other God but the true God, and do not murder. See the first 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the second 5, 6 through 10, actually integrate with each other. Don't murder and don't worship idols is the same thing. You go, what? So it's very obvious the first 5 commandments are between us and God, or us and our Creator, because that's why honor your father and mother is in the first 5, because your parents also are your Creator. So the first 5 commandments are between us and our parents, and our parent, God, or our parents, our mother, father, and God. And the second set is between us and our fellow man. 5 and 5 show you they're equal. Don't think, oh, I'm a very religious person. I do my prayers every day. I don't eat anything, but I cheat in business. I'm totally corrupt. No good. God doesn't want it. Go home. Stay home. He doesn't need your prayers. You're wasting your time. But they're also connected, and I'll show you how they're connected. How could do not murder be connected to idolatry? It's really the same thing. You go, what? How? I'll show you. When a person worships an idol, what they're doing is they're eliminating God from their lives. They're saying, God is not in my life. I got rid of the true God, and I have something else instead. When somebody murders, why does a person murder? Why would a person murder? Think about this. Can anyone tell me? Does anyone ever murder because they want to produce a dead body? Think. Does anyone murder because they want to create a corpse, a dead body? The answer is no, never. They just want to eliminate the person who's alive. They don't care that now we have a dead body. Think about this for a moment. Why does a person murder? Murder is not just killing. It means taking the life of an innocent person. In Hebrew, it's two different words of kill and murder, just so you know. Think very carefully. When someone murders somebody else, why do they do it? There's only two possibilities. Number one, I don't want that person to be around anymore. Or, I just want to make a dead body. What's the answer? Nobody cares that there's another dead body. People murder because they don't want that person to be in their lives anymore. They want to eliminate the person. They're not interested in making a cemetery more business. Let's make some more dead bodies. It never happened. You understand that? So murder is eliminating a person, eliminating somebody else. And that's what idolatry is. Idolatry is you're trying to eliminate me. You're not trying to produce a dead God. You're trying to eliminate me and say you don't exist. And I'm going somewhere else. I'll kill my wife so that I can run off with another woman. I'll kill my husband so I can run off with another man. He doesn't care about the dead body that produced. That's just ancillary. That comes along with it. But that's not the goal. So always idolatry is to eliminate God from your life, to remove him. So therefore, number 1 and number 6 is don't eliminate me and don't eliminate somebody else. Ooh, 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 Torah is so good, so delicious. So this thing that really, we can go deep, 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 and it can be all day talking about the 10 Commandments, but they really are all interconnected. So not only do they connect outwardly onto all the 613 commandments, but I show you how they all intersect with each other. Think about this. What's the 5th commandment? What is it? Honor your father and your mother. Honor your father and mother. What's the 10th commandment? What's the 10th, number 10? What? Do not covet. Well, what does that mean, covet? Don't covet. The Torah says like this. Do not covet your friend's house, his wife, his donkey, his ox, what belongs to your friend. You do not covet a man's wife. Think about this. It doesn't say you shouldn't want a nice house. Nothing wrong. Make sure you give tzedakah. The money was earned honestly. Nothing wrong saying, oh, I would love to have one day a nice house like he has. That's not a problem. I want his wife. I want his house. I want his cow. I want his car. I want his life. This person, Torah says it, Re'acha, your friend. I want his. What are you really saying? I want his life. I don't want my parents. I wish I was born to his parents. I wish I had a different life. It's very important. The prohibition of coveting doesn't mean that a person sees a nice car or a nice house and say, I wish I would have a nice house. I'm going to work harder. I wish I would have better food. I'm going to work harder because I see, look what the nice food is. That's not coveting. Coveting is, you're saying, read the Torah, Exodus 20. Torah says, don't look at your friend and say, I want his life. I want his wife. I want his car. I want his chamor. I want his donkey. I want his cow. I want his house. I want his everything. It means I want to be him. It means I don't want to be me, and I can't stand my family. I want a different family. Therefore, 5 and 10 are together. Means don't say, I don't want my life. Meaning, I don't want you, daddy and mommy. I hate you. And I wish his parents were my parents. Got it? Honor your father and mother, and don't try to have somebody else's life. So beautiful. Isn't Torah beautiful? Wow, so good. It's so good. Torah Hashem Tamima. The Torah of God is perfect. Meshivas Nefesh. it restores the soul. Eidus Hashem ne'emona, the testimony of God is trustworthy. Machkimas pesi, it makes the foolish people wise. Study Torah, it's very good. And we thank you for that question. Excellent.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא עובר